Hello, welcome to the Truth of the Matter. Today's topic is the bench press, where we're going to discuss the common technique points, used by some of the strongest raw bench pressers in the world. The first technique part we're going to single out is the forearm to elbow relation that most of these lifters have. What you'll see in most of these videos we're going to watch is you're going to see throughout the entire lift, the wrist stays almost vertical over the forearm the entire time, so that the forearm is vertical. Wrist stays over the elbow, elbow stays under the bar, and the forearms are vertical. Just watch a few of these to get a kind of an appreciation for what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's Calvin Oskos using a close grip, and you can see he had to strain a little bit harder through that than he might have done if he had a slightly wider grip. Some lifters take the closer grip. It can be due to shoulder injuries, or it can be just down to personal preference or the training history. It's not a common thing for people to take a closer grip. It's more common for them to take more of a medium grip or a slightly wider grip. And there is a payoff between those two kind of grip widths. What you'll get with a wider grip is you'll get a shorter bench stroke, which means you have to press the bar over a smaller range of motion. And with a closer grip, what you'll get is you'll get a lot more kind of speed off the chest. And what you'll see with most strong benchers, they'll have a payoff between the two, which typically ends up being what we're talking about with a like that, with the elbow under the wrist at all times, and the forearms at 12 o'clock. So the grip that you take will be the grip that you can take to your chest and have that forearm vertical with your wrist. Or sorry, have the forearm vertical and your wrist under the bar, elbow directly under the bar. We could talk about the shoulders. So what you're looking for on the bench press for your shoulders is for them to stay down. If you were to kind of take a video from the top, what you should see is the shoulders like in a neutral or slightly depressed position. There's a good view of it coming up right now. So this is one of the key things in your setup to get. So if you watch this guy's shoulders, takes the bar out and see the way his shoulders are under the line of his trap, and his deltoid doesn't really move. It articulates, but it kind of stays in the same plane. It doesn't move up. That's one of the keys that keep making the bench press both efficient but also healthier on the shoulder. You want to keep your scapula kind of down and depressed, and then by applying the arch, you'll allow your scapula to move freely. If you lie flat on the bench press gets in the way of the scapula moving properly, which ends up in people taking weird lines and ends up in shoulder impingements. So part of that setting up the shoulders is setting up the arch. Now if you watch these lifters, and this isn't a great video for it, but this is a good video for the shoulders. If you look at James's shoulders, they don't really move. It kind of just articulates through the elbows. His humerus is moving in the socket, but he's not like shrugging up. His scapula isn't really moving. He's just kind of articulating in the same plane. Humerus stays kind of in the same place. He doesn't shrug up. He doesn't shrug down. He just moves in that line, that straight line. So if you watch this guy's feet, look at his leg drive, off the chest, driving through the legs. You can see his hip wants to lift up. That's because he's pushing through his heels as it comes off the chest. This is one of the keys to having a bigger or better bench press. If you're not using a leg drive in your bench press, it's a really easy way of getting it higher. So you watch, he bounces it off his chest, but look at his legs after he bounces off his chest, pushing his heels to the floor. And that's a common thing you'll see with pretty much all heavy, able-bodied bench pressers. Is you'll see them kind of push through their heels or push through their feet on their arch. And that's another horribly bounced bench. Still a lot of weight though. Again, watch this guy's legs down to the chest, drive, pushing through the legs. You can see as he pushes through the legs, he wants to lift his arse up. If you find when you're bench pressing and you want to cheat reps, and if you cheat the reps by kicking your arse up off the bench and pushing through your legs, that means you've got your leg drive kind of down. You don't really need to worry about it. However, if you find yourself struggling and wanting to cheat, and what you do is you lift your leg up on the bench, which is a common error a lot of people do, That means you need to kind of look at your arch and your setup. I'm going to talk briefly about setting up an arch. What you're looking for in the arch is you're looking for your feet to be fairly close to your body or close to your head. That's going to allow you to apply more force to the floor and keep a tighter arch. You're looking for your lumbar or your thoracic spine to kind of be in that arched position. You're looking for your shoulders to be down and dug into the bench press, and that's going to allow you to keep your shoulders neutral like we were talking about before. Depending on the federation you compete in, you can have your balls of the feet up. So if your federation allows you to be on the balls of your feet, probably try that because you can get your feet closer and you get more leg drive that way. If your federation, IPF as an example, that don't allow your feet to be down or don't allow you to be on the balls of your feet and you have your feet flat, you might want to look at like a wider bench setup. And how you achieve them things in your arch is down to you, your flexibility. Now flexibility will determine how big your arch is. The actual size of you will depend on how big your arch is. It's really trial and error. Have a look at quite a lot of lifters and how they set up their arch and try different ways of setting it up. There's a whole host of ways of doing it. Just gonna have a little chat about bar speed. What you're looking for on a bench press is a smooth, natural action in a straight line. And how you achieve that's going to be dependent on a lot of factors. Ideally what you want to do is you want to have a smooth line down. You don't want to take it down overly slow because that way you're going to expend energy controlling the bar down. But you don't want to be overly quick either, as you don't want to drop it as you'll lose control of the bar. And if you're going to bench press a competition, you're going to need to come to a complete stop at the bottom. So if you bounce it, you're going to lose a lot of weight in competition, which is not what you want. When you're doing your reps or you're doing your training, just find something that feels natural. Some people come down a lot slower than other people. Some people come down very fast. It depends on what feels good. I would personally advocate kind of a medium, or almost just like you're kind of letting the bar fall, but you're letting it fall under control down in a straight line. And when you're pressing, as soon as if you're doing a pause or you get a press command or you're just doing touch and go, you want to drive into the bar as hard as you can. In that instant, you want to push everything together. So you want to squeeze your ass, you want to push your heels to the floor, you want to drive your hands through the bar, push your shoulders into the bench. You want to give it everything you have in one split instant, and in that split instant, you're going to fire that chest off your bar. You're going to fire that bar off your chest physically as hard as you can and keep driving through. And when you start getting to the sticking point or you feel the bar slowing down, the instant you feel the bar slowing down, you think about bringing your elbows together. And you bring your elbows together is what's going to lock the bar out. So you can see there, right at the finish of the lift, he just kind of pops his elbows, pops his elbows, pops his elbows. That's how you lock out a wet lift. If you keep trying to press the bar like you do from the start through the sticking point, you're just going to end up bringing your shoulders up, which you don't want to do like we discussed before. Just go up, 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 slows down, elbows. Up, up, slows down, elbows. And you really see in that last one, he's just pushing those elbows together. And that's how you lock the bar out. And finally, just a little discussion on pausing and bouncing. You really don't want to bounce the bar. A few lifters, like a few throwers do it, some fighters do it, some gym rats do it, and it's fine for them. But if you want to be a lifter or you want to do bench press competition, you should really do some pause in your training. Or if you don't pause in your training, you should either touch under control on your chest, or don't touch your chest, just come slightly above your chest. And just learn to control the bar. That's like one of the best ways you're gonna be a better lifter in competition. You can see this guy just lets it dumps in his chest and then comes off. And you see how hard that lockout is. There's no way in hell he could have done that paused. You can do it in the gym touch and go and it's fine for whatever reason he's training. But if you're gonna train in competition or you wanna bench press a competition, advocate either train a pause or have your touch and go controlled to the chest. Or even don't touch your chest when if you watch a good bench presser to watch for this, Eric Spotto. If you watch him when he reps, he doesn't actually touch his chest. He's under tension the whole time. He might be like an inch or 2 inches off his chest, and he'll just hover and he'll stay in that line. I did that for ages. I did that for about 2 years, and I found that really useful for learning how to control the bar. I've kind of reverted to training a pause now because I'm more interested in getting my competition bench up, because after all, that's the reason I'm training. So that's why I'm training more with the pause. I'm going to end it there. Again, any questions or comments, send me an email, speedpowerperformance@gmail.com. Leave a comment below. Always happy to engage in discussion. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.